What's going on? It's Greg with Greg Said It. Back with another one here on this beautiful, might as well call it fall day, fall weather. Weather's cooling off. It's not as hot, at least here in Atlanta, Georgia. Just good football weather. And man, we coming up on, like I say, week 7. Early game this week with Stanford on a Friday, like Friday night football. I think my school may have a homecoming that night. It's like, kind of have to go and rush to, the high school game and get back and catch a late night college football game. I don't think I've ever seen that before. At least not teams I followed. Friday night. It would have been great to have a bye week at the high school this week or not have to have a homecoming. Could have just been ready. But, man, the last time we played a 10 o'clock game was rough. I'm going to have to get a nap or something. I mean, it was horrible. The last time, that would have been CSU, I believe. Stayed up like 2 o'clock in the morning. Boy, it was rough. It was a rough day. I think that fell on a Saturday. So I don't know if it's a good thing that it rolled into a Saturday, not a Sunday, but man, whew, that was rough on the body. So hopefully I better get a nap during the day or something and just kind of be ready for that, because that's a long day. And hopefully it'll be a good game. Bye week next week. So, but I've been hearing a lot. And I kind of sit back and listen. I haven't had a lot to say about it. But I noticed that the rhetoric is picking up. And it's not a surprise, because it just comes with the nature of Coach Prime and who he is and the situation he's in. And that is the fact that it's favoritism on his team, or that he's playing daddy ball. So let's start with daddy ball. I remember from day one, Coach Prime, when he took Shador straight from the Celebration Bowl, and he stood up in front of that crowd and said, "That's your next quarterback." And that's when it all began. Who is he? How he's just going to give his son the position? His son. He had to defend his decision the whole time, how good his son is. Nobody believed how good his son is. And then all of a sudden everybody can see it. But it's still people who stuck in their ignorance and stuck in their hate. They still insist on it's his son. But you can't deny when the guy's number 1 in passing in the country. He would have been close last year. He was in Division 1. But since he's playing daddy ball, they count Division 1 as not Division 1 because there's a difference between FCS and FBS, but it's still Division 1. It's always been Division 1 up until recently. I don't know, maybe it's a new generational thing, but Division 1 is Division 1. It's different conferences. It used to be called Division 1A and Division 1AA. Now it's called FCS, FBS. That's the new lingo. But it's always been considered Division 1 football. And his numbers were top in Division 1. But they played it down, say, he's at a lower level. He had a little high school ball, black football, HBCU football, SWAC. They watered down every way. But his numbers was high. They started throwing around the idea of him being a Heisman. It's really good that he moved. But with that situation, his dad being the coach, not to say that other teams' dad are not the coach. I know the first game, TCU, the quarterback, his dad wasn't the head coach, but his dad was the coach. So you have that going on, and it's like nobody really put a lot of light on that, and it's other teams. But it was one of those things where people really couldn't really appreciate and value what Shador is bringing to the table, because his dad is the coach. He always had to prove himself really his whole career, because one, his dad is who he is. You have to measure up to his dad. And he always played with his dad. So it never really got the value, because it's all his dad gave him that. No matter how well he's done, no matter if he won 3 state championships, no matter if he always had a top passing, rate, a completion rate and yardage, none of that matters, touchdowns, because it always falls back to the daddy ball thing. And then it doesn't help when he brought Shiloh. Shiloh was leading the country in tackles and all of that, and leading the pack and this, and then he went out, he was hurt. And the scrutiny of him, the level of scrutiny when he missed a tackle. I'm saying he missed tackles. He played a very not good game this week, but he's coming back from an injury. So we don't know how much that to play. But he usually a hitter. And he used to be a pretty decent ball hawk, especially at JSU. And he got a pick here. So he's been performing. And numbers-wise, he's been performing. And then people started to say that even he is a second round, upper first round pick. And I haven't even really paid no attention to what that really meant. But again, it's like, why is he out there his dad only, doesn't get on him. He gets on other players. When he misses a tackle, they don't pull him out like the other players. And you see the rhetoric, right? Even though he's a leader on the defense, even though he's performing, he's making tackles, he's making big plays. I mean, you can't take him out just because you don't like his dad or you're jealous of the fact that his dad is the coach. So you have all of that going on, and it just rolls over. But very few people point out the fact that if his son is late for me, he'll put him on the bench. He'll punish him. I mean, Charlo was late to the SWAT championship, and he was coming back from an injury that year, from ACL, and he only had played a few games, if that, at that point. And he was coming back in the SWAT championship, and his dad benched him. Didn't let him play, didn't let him dress, because he came back from a break late, and he really was on time, but he was late according to Coach Prime standards. So, he's done it to his son. If anything, his son may catch more because he has to prove that he's not been what they call it, nepotism going on or something. Because you really look at it, if Charlo's leading that defense, why don't he have a dog on his jersey? You see, his aggression and his need is almost like he has to suffer for the sake of people. And I know that's a fact. And I know that's a reality, because I remember when they was giving out jersey numbers, and even though Shador was the leader of the team, the star quarterback, he did not get his number. Everybody else can get his number, because as soon as he got his number, it was favoritism. These kids have to take less. They have to receive less respect, less credibility, because people so quick to be jealous of them playing with their dad. And they've been really good about it. Maybe because their life is so blessed. Maybe they got their NILs and they don't really care. But thank God they're strong, because they don't get their due. Because they got to always worry about what people say. So then you got other players out here, okay, all the kids are his sons, or he still got other people that's his kids that he favor, right? People with injuries sit out. Why you won't let us come back? Why don't you want to let McCaskill come back? But people don't see how he kept Travis out. Travis wanted to come back. And that's supposed to be his boy. He did it at Jackson State. He played the first game. He wasn't all the way there. He made him sit out for 3-4 more games. Charlo too. Charlo, they didn't come back to pretty much the same time, mid-season. I think it might have been homecoming or something like that. They came back. People don't really compare properly. They so emotionally, and they so see what they want. They don't really compare apples to apples. Can I say certain people should be playing or not? I'm not out there. Is other people who could be playing? Possibly. I don't know if that's not a situation on any team, especially when people's opinion is in it. I don't know. I've seen plenty of teams where the coach didn't have no kids on the team, and you still call it favoritism. And, we don't always know why coaches do what they do. Maybe they see certain things. Maybe they do have certain agreements behind the scenes. Maybe it is, I like this kid's character and I want him to represent the team. He's just such a stand-up guy. He's reliable. But ultimately, I believe the coaches are always in a situation where they have to win, because at the end of the day, they have to do a job. They're not there to the baby. They're not there to favor. They're not there to do daddy's ball, because at the end of the day, if they don't win, everybody gonna turn their back on them. They'll fire you. Don't care what your contract is, pay you off, get somebody else in. The fans will turn on you. The media will turn on you. Really? Do you really sacrifice all that for daddy ball? The kids are putting up numbers, right? And as far as other guys wanting to get in, they do have position coaches who also have a say in that depth chart. And they're hired to do their job. It's not Coach Prime's job to micromanage or to always stand over his coaches and make decisions for them. So it could be other factors. It could be maybe they don't get along with their position coach, or maybe certain things that they're not doing the position coach don't like. How do you put it all on Coach Prime? I know he's the figure of the team. I know he's the head coach, but do you know how structure works? Do you know how organization works? Does the CEO make all the decisions in a corporation? Is it not, vice presidents and other levels of management and directors also involved, and managers, supervisors? Is it not rankings in the military? See, what it really exposes is what you really want to say. and it just fits your narrative. It's a lot of ways to go about things and see things, but what comes out of your mouth shows what's in your heart. It's what you really want to believe. It's what you really believe. And then sometimes when you believe something, it's hard to sway that from you. A person who wants to believe something, they don't want facts. They don't want evidence. They see everything contrary to the truth or just contrary to what it is if it's not what they want to see. And that's sometimes a lot of times what we're dealing with. Because if you find something negative about all things a person do, you really don't like them, or you really got a bias towards them. They can't do anything right. I'm not saying that you find one thing right and they're doing everything wrong, but really, what can you say about Coach Prime? He's taken a little, made a lot. He had a fast turnaround through health issues, through people leaving, transfer portal coming in, have to build a team from scratch with a miraculous amount of numerous new players, with all the skepticism, with all the, we say naysayers, doubters. He had to build through all of that. And he built a brand that everybody's talking about. It didn't have to go that way. They could have stayed on his head. I mean, it's not automatically because he's Coach Prime that everybody's going to flock to him, because that wasn't the case. He's been Coach Prime, and nobody was on his side like that during the summer and when he came. So he's proven himself. He's won some games. He's won some people over. Then he lost some of them right back. But at the end of the day, we can't really say what's going on there. And we might not want to get too deep into it because it's not personal to us. Maybe some people have family and friends, and even still, you're only hearing one side of the story. You're hearing a perspective. Somebody could be lying. Somebody could be in their feelings. It's a lot. You're dealing with Division I athletes who all of them pretty much were stars at their school at this level. But you may not be a star at this level, but you may have been a star in high school. And it's just a transition or just going to a new team. But sometimes you just got to wait your turn, like Ward, who's now starting at safety. Took him half the season to get there. He's a grad transfer All-American, right? Everybody said he should have been out there. It may be some other guys that should be out there, but maybe sometimes you just got to wait your turn. Maybe when your opportunity comes. And that's a lot like life. Sometimes you deserve opportunity. You don't get it, but you gotta be ready when your opportunity comes. And a lot of this stuff will teach character to these kids. And instead of bailing these kids out with, negativity and accusations, teach them character. Let this be an opportunity to learn character. Let this be an opportunity for us from the outside to practice the right character, the right perspective, instead of always jumping to the negativity and flooding and putting it out there. It's an opportunity to learn. It's an opportunity to understand. And I think it'll play itself out. And if he's not using his players right, that hurts him. They have a long season left, halfway there, uphill battle, some of the strongest games back to back to back to back. And they're looking for a winning record, the best record possible, the best bowl possible. And I'm interested to see how it's going to play out. But until then, Greg said it. Make sure you all like, subscribe, comment. And I know I see about 80% of the people who watch this video are not subscribers. If that's one of you, go ahead and subscribe right now. It don't hurt to hit the subscribe button. With that, y'all have a good one. I'll talk to y'all soon.